Ugh.
Peanut butter. Anyway.
Was that your intro to this episode? Peanut butter and a burp? You guys ready to have your world fucking rock today?
Hugo and Jake. The Bible is jaded and most of it taken. So get educated with Hugo and Jake. Pull up a new and stop what you're doing. It's Bible reloaded time. They call it debated, the theorists will hate it. Like talking to taken, but it's Hugo and Jake. So I'm with the show then. It's not candy coated. It's the Bible reloaded with Hugo and Jake. With Hugo and Jake.
So, welcome to the show. Today, on the Bible study, we're going to be talking about miracles, or as Hugo says...
I don't say
miracles!
I don't say it anymore. I say miracles.
You literally just said it while we were talking about
No, I didn't. I said I made a mental note.
I was sitting over there, and you said,
I was sitting
is water to wine the first miracle Jesus does?
I said miracle. I fucking said
I'm
it.
going to start just recording when we're sitting around.
You were sitting over there, I was sitting here, I was closer to my mouth. I know what I said. Anyway, today we're dealing with the first miracles of Jesus.
So, for 3 of the books of this, so Mark, Matthew, and Luke in chronological order, we're going to be dealing with him healing a man of leprosy. He also, after that, will heal a man with paralysis. We'll do that next time. But in John, that's not really involved, so we're going to do the first miracle, chronologically according to Christians, even though John comes way later, and it's not mentioned in any of the other books that precede it, is water into wine. So Party Jesus is coming, so get turned early, and we'll coast into... You should, like, honestly, if you have some marijuana, I think it's time to probably partake. Start the coast now. If you have edibles, you should have taken those 10 minutes ago. There's no way it hits before the end of this video.
See, I was going to say, if the Bible was written today, would Jesus, like, turn oregano into more weed? Like, the party's out of weed! What do we do?
Fuck yeah.
Don't worry, Party Jesus is here.
Does he do this?
I don't know. Do people has anyone ever done this?
Shaka bra.
I don't
know.
interact with people. Sorry.
Anyway, so today we begin in Mark chapter 1, verse 40. Jesus heals a man with leprosy.
Don't you like back in the day when leprosy wasn't an actual defined disease?
It was like a real problem, I guess.
It just means, ew, your skin's gross.
Yeah, well... A man with leprosy, superscript G, there's various diseases affecting the skin, came to him and begged him on his knees, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus was indignant. I am not making that up. That's what it says in our version. It does go out of its way to superscript H that. Many manuscripts say Jesus was filled with compassion, but not the manuscripts the NIV is using.
I like that Jesus, and honestly...
Indignant. Imagine that, though. I think he would be.
I think he would be, because later in the book, there's also a part where, for instance, I believe it's a Canaanite woman comes to him.
Yeah.
And he says something to her along the lines of...
You're a dog.
You're a dog. So it's not outside of the character of Jesus to look upon some people and be like...
With almost disgust and disdain.
Randomly, almost. It seems very random. Again, this comes from, like, being a character which has been added to over, like, the centuries. It happens. You get a very bipolar Jesus.
Do you know what, though? I believe this version of Jesus more than I believe the really compassionate, nice guy Jesus we're led to believe is the person. Because it, like... I don't know. Imagine you're Tom Hanks... and the world is just filled with Hugos. He doesn't go a day without being like, "Hey, you like typewriters? Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks, you like typewriters?" And Tom Hanks is like, "There's a snake in my boot," and he walks away.
I felt like
several levels of Tom Hanks.
I felt like I was there with him.
I know, right?
It was very real.
Yeah. Jesus was indignant. He reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said. "Be clean!" Immediately, the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed. Author's note, if you use a pronoun for someone, in the next one, you can't... if it's someone else, if you're referring to someone else, you can't just use the same pronoun. You have to reestablish the proper noun, and then like the man was clean. That's fine.
The person who wrote this has been dead for millennia.
I agree. I'm just saying, like for budding authors, just don't because it confuses the reader.
Okay, how does this work? By the way, did the leprosy slowly go away, or was it a jump cut in real life?
Jump cut, real life jump cut.
Okay,
not 1 minute, 1 second.
Okay,
1 moment, immediately. Which means all the dead skin just
disappeared.
Dude, Jesus is effectively the most exfoliant thing. Right?
You're not wrong.
You can take a shower with Jesus and you just be like fucking smooth.
Your pores are fucking... It's like you opened your pores, took a shovel, scooped them all out personally.
Oh man,
and then resealed them.
The idea of that makes me go, ooh. Imagine being that clean. No one's ever been that clean.
If someone hasn't started an exfoliating brand with Jesus as the mascot, let me introduce you to that great business idea right now.
Jesus sent him away at once with a strong warning. See that you don't tell this to anyone. Whoops! But go, show yourself to the priest and offer the sacrifices that Moses commanded for your cleansing, as a testimony to them. Instead, he went out and began to talk freely, spreading the news. As a result, Jesus could no longer enter a town openly, but stayed outside in lonely places. Yet the people still came to him from everywhere. That doesn't seem to stop him ever.
Nope.
Ever. He only stayed out in lonely places? Mark, you know this to not be true, and you wrote it anyway. Alright, moving on to Matthew, which is chronologically later. Of course, we've been going in chronological order, not in biblical order, so we skip from 66 AD all the way to 85 AD. So in Matthew, he doesn't actually have a leprosy moment at this point in the Bible. He has Jesus heals the sick. So we're just going to read that real quick, and he's just going to, in general, this covers all the times he heals anything, because Matthew could not be fucked to write about this shit. There's important stuff to get to. We're not dealing with some infirm folks,
Matthew
okay?
spent a lot of his time on the Sermon on the Mount, in fairness.
He really does. More than anyone else. Here goes. Jesus went throughout Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every disease and sickness among the people. News about him spread all over Syria, and people brought to him all who were ill with various diseases, those suffering severe pain, the demon-possessed, those having seizures, and the paralyzed, and he healed them. One of those things, much more severe than the other things, and I gotta say it's probably the chronic pain.
Okay.
Chronic back pain overtakes demon possession 9 times out of 10.
In fairness,
anyone with back pain knows this.
In fairness, worst case demon possession, you're like throwing up pea soup at priests.
Yeah.
Back pain, that's a chronic issue.
Linda Blair.
I can work with Pazuzu demonically possessing my soul.
Pazuzu? Was that his name?
Yeah, I can't work with back pain. That's established in The Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Which all of us have seen. So basically, we skip over the part where he does any actual miracle doing stuff, and we just claim it.
Yeah.
We just claim it. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't know they called it the Decapolis. Actually, that's Greek, isn't it?
Yep.
Poli is a Greek word for city. Anyway, on to Luke. Now, Luke adds a little bit in between the stuff we read last time and the leprosy. So we'll read that before. So he's going to drive out an impure spirit first. He's going to heal many after that. Then he will do the leprosy, and then he will finally get the paralyzed man, which of course we will read next time. But first, Jesus drives out an impure spirit. Then he went down to the Capernaum, a town in Galilee, and on the Sabbath he taught the people. They were amazed at his teaching because his words had authority. His words had authority.
He would just said it real...
He said it real confidently.
He's like Undoomed. He puts a really, really obnoxious low voice filter on it, so you're like, oh, I respect what this guy has to say.
Fake it till you make it. In the synagogue, there was a man possessed by a demon, an impure spirit. He cried out at the top of his voice, "Go away! What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus said sternly, "Be quiet, come out of him." Then the demon threw the man down before them all and came out without injuring him. All the people were amazed and said to each other, what words these are! With authority and power he gives orders to impure spirits, and they come out. And the news about him spread throughout the surrounding area. I feel like that guy just had paranoia. That doesn't sound like a demon.
Demon dispossessions, demon exorcisms are not an impressive feat, considering you can literally go on YouTube and type in, like, demon exorcism, and you can find about 5 million Southern Baptist priests doing...
Yeah. Or African...
whatever.
African priests doing that shit is very popular. Jesus left the synagogue and went to the home of Simon. Now, Simon's mother-in-law was suffering from a high fever, and they asked Jesus to help her. So he bent over her. I almost just, like, my eyes, he bent her over, and I stopped immediately and had to reconsider my words.
I think we would have heard about that story.
Yeah, no, I was like, did we just find the fucking jackpot here? Just for a brief moment. Anyway, he rebuked the fever and it left her. She got up at once and began to wait on them. 'Cause she's a woman.
I know.
Just because Jesus is there doesn't mean your roll stops.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Terrible.
At sunset, the people brought to Jesus all who had various kinds of sickness, and laying his hands on each one, he healed them. Moreover, demons came out of many people, shouting, "You are the Son of God!" But he rebuked them and would not allow them to speak, because they knew he was a son. What do you mean didn't allow them to speak? They just said words.
Okay. Again, we've established this in the earlier videos, but Luke is the chronologically latest. It was written like
Well, John is, but but of the synoptic gospels, he's the latest.
Yeah, it was written. What was it? 70 years after the fact.
Oh yeah.
So at this point, how do we know Jesus?
85 to 90 AD. Yeah.
Okay, so written a long time after his death, like 60 years after his death.
Yeah.
How do we know Jesus was the Son of God? I don't know. Demons came out one time and they were like, yeah, you're the Son of God. We'll corroborate that for some reason.
That's what happens. I mean, yeah, that's...
And you gotta believe them. They're demons.
Amazing.
This is the foundation of your religion.
That's amazing.
This is how do we know this is true?
Do you know how I know he's real? He made a woman wait on him still.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That tracks. At daybreak, Jesus went out to a solitary place. The people were looking for him, and when they came to where he was, they tried to keep him from leaving them. But he said, "I must proclaim the good news of the kingdom of God to the other towns also, because that is why I was sent." And he kept on preaching in the synagogues of Judea.
Again, the later this gets in the story, as far as writing the different gospels,
absolutely,
the more of a conceited asshole Jesus becomes.
Fuck yeah, man.
Earlier, he's just kind of like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you," and a lot of the time, be like, "I'll heal you through God" or whatever. By the time you get to Luke and John, he's like, "I'm the fucking Messiah. Get the fuck out of my way, bitch."
That was a very athletic kick.
Jesus, he's a limber guy. Wearing sandals all the time. He knows to kick the door right by the knob.
Yeah.
He knows how to kick a door down. No Judea home is safe.
In the words of Dr. D, Jesus is in peak physical condition, but he's not even in shape. And then, of course, we gotta heal a man with leprosy.
Yeah.
So here we go. While Jesus was in one of the towns, a man came along who was covered with leprosy. This was way worse than last time. This guy is just head to tippy toe.
Yeah.
Leprosy. 110%.
He's got the nasty skin.
He's got that nasties. When he saw Jesus, he fell with his face, if you can call it that, to the ground and begged him, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. Not indignantly, I might add. Just he did it.
I think at some point they were like, "Oh, that makes the Savior look like a huge dick.
Yeah.
We should probably change that," and then in later manuscripts say he was compassionate. Whoops.
"I am willing," he said. "Be clean." And immediately, leprosy left him. Again, left the man, not left Jesus, who you just referred to as he.
Yeah, over the 20 years or whatever between
books,
they didn't fix that.
Yeah.
Get a better copy editor, Bible.
Then Jesus ordered him, "Don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priests and offer the sacrifices that Moses commanded for your cleansing as a testimony to them." Yet the news about him spread all the more, so that crowds of people came to hear him and be healed of their sickness. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Do you see how that message changed? Yeah. It wasn't the man who was healed that spread the word. It was like onlookers, basically just others.
Yeah. And also, it's not that he could never... It changes the wording from he could never go into
He just
towns.
avoided crowded places because, like, it's fucking tiring to constantly be leprosy cleaning guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I wouldn't want to, like, he's the only wizard in a D&D game.
Oh my god, you're right.
He's just got to do all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think we're going to finish up on John chapter 2, Jesus changes water into wine. Again, this, when I was in Christian school, they taught us, and this is what I think is the general consensus among, not every Christian, I guess, but this is usually considered his first public miracle.
Yeah, I'd say... Of course, if you base this on reality, none of them. But I mean, like, imagine he existed and all of this is true. At least, like the idea is true, right? Yeah. Chronologically speaking, if you were to write this down, John comes last.
Yeah.
You'd imagine this would show up before that.
Yeah.
So it gives me even more pause than usual, considering no one else even fucking talks about this. Literally one of the most famous miracles of all time. I mean, people talk about it constantly.
It's a late edition.
It's an idiom. It's so common to talk about this. Like, no, that guy can turn water to wine. Like, that even comes up in, like, sports casting. Like, when someone's just so good. Sure. He transcends the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anyway. Here it is. The origin of all of this in a few short sentences. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied. "My hour has not yet come."
It says in the superscript, by the way.
Woman does not denote any disrespect. Yeah.
It kind of, in that context, it does. You don't get to just say that. You don't get to try and soften the blow of your savior being like, woman, after, like, literally, he healed a woman earlier. I know this takes place chronologically later, technically, but, like, he healed a woman and was like, "I'll go get us lunch, bitch."
Yeah.
He didn't say that. Implicit within the society, though, that's the case.
Right, and it's not like just, like, even if you take out the woman part, why do you involve me?
You're
being a dick.
You're being a dick, Jesus.
You can turn water to wine. That's why I'm involving you, you piece of shit. Sorry I ever raised you and hid you from fucking Herod. I should have let him kill you.
And don't say it's too petty for him to do, because he fucking does it. So,
yeah.
Again.
I really don't know. Anyway. His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." That's what I do. Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons, or from about 75 to 105 liters, if in case you're a dirty, dirty metric user.
So everyone except for the United States and, like, one other country.
It's called the imperial system. Okay? We didn't make it up. It's a fragment. It's a fragment of them. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so. By the way, servants, probably slaves. Not saying they are, but probably slaves. They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. What? Okay, no, they didn't establish it just now.
Yeah.
It's water that had been turned into wine.
Yeah. You know the story that we're telling right now for the first time. It'd be like if in the first Superman comic, that was like, bear in mind, no knowledge of Superman.
Yeah.
If they're like, and then he picked up a car and flew because he's Superman, you know.
It kind of does
and
that
then
in the first comic.
No, the first comic, I have a copy.
I do too. He's on a train and shit, right? Doesn't he pick up a car, though?
It does a one-page, here's the story of Superman.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I've only read it once, so it's not very good.
I mean, for the time, it's fine.
Yeah. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now. What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and brother and disciples, and they stayed for a few days.
And Capernaum is where that other story took place that we read earlier.
Right, so, I mean, it even says here it's the first one, but apparently Jesus wine is the tits.
I guess so, they're like...
But what makes... See, wine is so subjective. Is it just, like, less acidic?
Jesus's was the best. It was the best. Believe me, he's Jesus.
I'd like to know, actually, like, a wine aficionado breakdown of that wine in biblical times. Like, it has a nice fruity notes up front, and then it... Yeah. Like, I like some wine. I'm not a big wino or anything, but I like some wine, and I've had good wine. Like, I've had wine that made me go, ooh, which is not very common. Most wine, I go, that's wine.
I've had one wine that I actually was like, holy shit, this tastes like grape
really
juice.
Good wine and is fucking ridiculous.
It was...
well, not grape juice.
It was actually from a kosher wine company. It was delicious. It tasted like grape juice. I don't know what they did.
That's just grape juice.
No, it was wine. It was alcoholic. It was like 9%. It wasn't like... It was like... And it didn't taste like it at all.
That's not how you judge wine.
No.
It's whether or not it tastes like grape juice.
Well, that's how alcoholics judge wine.
If it tastes like grape juice?
Because you can drink a lot of it.
Okay, well, I was just... Anyway, if you want to enjoy a wine, I'd like to know what made that the best wine. And is it relative to the time, or would current wine aficionados be like, this is fucking dope? You know what I mean? Like, I have no standard...
I think they've done tests on wine aficionados with, like, a really good bottle and, like, a $10 bottle.
I can tell the difference on bad versus good wine.
I think they've done a study and they basically say over $20 it's all about subjective.
Oh, I see. See, I'm thinking bad wine is $8.
You can't get it, but like above 20.
Yeah, I don't know about above 20. I don't know if I could tell.
Above 20, they say it starts to fall apart and it's more subjective. So.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, if you're a wino, what's your favorite wine, dude? Red or white? Gotta go red, myself. Better to cook with.
I like white.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a Riesling, or do you like a white wine, like a dry?
No, like a Riesling.
Yeah, like that's just juice.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why you drink.
Again, there's a reason I don't.
Stupid.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. You can always follow Jake at Papa Bird Jake on Twitter.
Yeah, well, you can get my wine opinions. You can follow Hugo at Hugo Reloaded. He will have no wine opinions. It will just be pictures of juice. You can also subscribe to the channel and get more Jesus. Next time he's going to talk to an invalid. Not my words. Bible words.
You can, if you want to help support the channel, donate to the Patreon campaign. Also, in the description, you can go to our Discord. Lots of people there.
Yeah. And I started a new stream schedule on Twitch. So every Wednesday, other days I have other stuff, but Wednesday, recently I've been doing reviews of YouTube videos, basically, or responses, I suppose. Kind of like, Abandoned Hope by TJ. He does something like that. Jeff Holiday does another thing where he does streams. I think they both do those on YouTube, though. But I do mine over at Twitch. The last one, I did an Undoomed video. I imagine most of our viewers will enjoy me not liking that video. I imagine I will. Because he's very bad.
So,
quote, you put the sissy in sis. Not how that joke is supposed to be structured, and also fucking weird. And boomery. It was funny. You'd enjoy it. Twitch.tv/actualjake.
So, until next time, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
This has been, Hugo and Jake. You know how the Greeks had, like, blocks and you put it in the water and it would, like, turn into wine?
Yeah.
Maybe Jesus just smuggled some of those in and was like...
Maybe? Like, if that actually happened, that was literally what happened. Like, it was just, okay, I have some things.
Yeah. What a cool dude.
Hey, man, I mean, I'm with that. You had to dilute it in water. Because it was just like fucking sap balls. Anyway. Alright, leave.